It's only a game. Why you have to be mad?
So I guess a big part of today's live stream, we could talk about the hero changes. After a day of playing with this and chatting with people, publishing video about it, and getting some feedback from the video, it's come to my attention, or at least I've agreed with the fact that the tank is being overwhelmed. The tank is being overwhelmed. Before, whenever an enemy tank would gain energy on taking damage, they would be able to ult at least once. Because they're not gaining energy when they receive damage, a lot of teams, especially teams that attack fast, are just overwhelming everything. It's also come to my attention that this team has basically a 100% win rate. It just does too much damage too fast. Anvari, Sebastian, Daredevil, Crashed Game, Jet, and Darkstar. The energy rules for this event, I think, are a failure. I think they're a failure. I still stand by what I say, that the energy system needs to be reworked, but I think this system isn't it. I think heroes are potentially charging too fast, but I think maybe the play, I need more Brawl tokens, might be to give roles specific energy rules. Like, what if tanks gained energy at a different rate or based on different activities than healers did? What if support classes gained energy at a different rate than, I don't know, mages or general purpose damage dealers, right? Fast stacking teams are a problem with that brawl. Yes. I saw somebody say something about Cascade. Now, there are a couple of bugs with this. Notably, Galahad he has an extra physical attack skin somewhere. Galahad has an extra physical attack skin somewhere. You can see it because his maxed out power level is 109,000 power level. But if you put him in here, you can see it's 114,000 power level, right? And it's exactly the amount of power level he receives from a physical attack skin. So, or it could be a magic attack skin, I suppose. There is a physical or magic attack skin extra being added to Galahad during this event. Sebastian also is bugged in this event, but in graphics only, in display only. I don't know exactly what Sebastian's max power level is, but 105 is less. But apparently when the activity does start, when you actually get into a fight, it corrects his stats. And finally, the last bug that we are aware of, the second to last bug that we are aware of, is any hero that has a super skin, like Anvari or Amira or any of the other heroes that have a super skin, Lars. It doesn't show up in the hero team select screen here, but it does show up once the fight actually does start. All right, makes sense. So there's some graphic bugs. There is some, we just lost here. Not 100% win rate, I guess. Bing, bang, boom. So back to kind of what we were saying. I got a lot of comments on the YouTube video that I put out, and a lot of people reaching out to me on Discord about the video. There's some weird arguments being made about this, and it's, I can understand it because we're not all on the same page. There's a lot of things that happen in Hero Wars. Weird graphics. There's a lot of things that happens, but basically every time there's any kind of announcement, most people that are vocal react negatively. Almost every addition that happens to this game, people will react negatively, and that's just the nature of people. It seems like what is it? It's 12-1. It takes there's one good piece of feedback for every 12 pieces of negative feedback, or people are 12 times more likely to leave negative feedback than positive feedback, or something like that. I can't remember what it is. Nobody likes change. That's another great, way to look at it. The idea of this situation, protecting the people that are willing to invest the time and the money, or both, seems to be a really big sticking point for a lot of people. Obviously, the way that the energy is set up in this event is incorrect, and it's not going to stick, right? Because obviously there's no room for defenses. There's no room for counterplay. Once you've achieved a threshold of a power level, you should be able to, beat basically any defense with almost no thought to it, right? If it's a halfway decent strategy team, then it should be able to defeat mostly any defense, as you know, as we can see, or you can see yourself by testing in the brawl. The argument, you know, that you have to protect your whales so they keep spending is one that comes to mind, right? Anytime that there's any kind of change, a lot of people say, well, my friend who spends $1,000 a month on this game is going to quit because of this. And then I usually say something along the lines of, who cares? 100,000 new players join the game every day, or 40,000 new players, or whatever number that, you know, the current financial document states. And while both of those things could be true, you know, their $1,000 a month spending friend could be leaving, and my, you know, new player counts every day is factual. This is one of those things that, if done correctly, and that's a huge caveat there, guys. That's a huge caveat. If done correctly, what does that even mean, done correctly? If done correctly, the people that have spent the time and the money, or both, will have the stronger teams. And those people should feel more invested, more interested in having a change like this, because it means that a weak team won't auto win because they're abusing some strange energy mechanic. Maybe not auto win, but have a chance to win. Everybody, I think, should have a chance to win anyway, but not every team has randomness thrown in there. So if done correctly is the big thing. So it's a weird thing to say, you know, because I'm so often saying the contrary. But I think this is actually a huge deal for people that have been playing for a while and want to keep playing, or people that spend and want to keep spending, because they're not going to feel cheated. They're not going to feel like that this weaker team beat me and they shouldn't, because I spent more money, because I spent more time. And you might say, "Oh, this is a game, Charlie. This is a game. You know, people will not play if they have no hope of beating people that have played longer." Well, the business plan is to get people hooked through the ads, the minigame ads, and then keep them playing for however long that they need to get to that certain number that makes them, you know, that surpasses their CAC, or customer acquisition cost. And then once they've surpassed that number, anything else you spend is just profit. The energy system changes and lower powered players have no chance to win anymore. They will lose a lot of players. So this is the exact argument I'm talking about. This is exactly the exact argument I'm talking about, except backwards. The game is about using the correct counter heroes. Is it? I think people think that it is, and I'm not completely disagreeing with you, Zol. This game is about using the correct counter heroes. If you have the correct heroes at 300k, you can beat a 500k player. Right, but think about it from the point of view of the 500k player. I'm not saying it's right, but if the 500k player has done everything right, has put in the time or the money or both, why should they be beaten by a 300k team? They're the players that are spending. Wouldn't Nexters want to keep those players in lieu of the players that are not spending? Let's see. My Aurora, which you put a lot of dodges into, will become worthless? Not really. Not worthless. Very good tank still. Incredible against physical teams. Will ult less. Will protect her team less, for sure. If you think spend more money, you should also counter team comps. Not more money equals win. Ha 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 ha. Cool name, by the way. This is the thing. This is the counter argument to Zol's statement. If the paying player puts up a crappy defense, then they deserve to lose. Now, what is a crappy defense? I don't know. I think all defenses have merit. You know, all defenses can be beaten, which is why a meta team does not exist in this game. That's why, you know, popular and trendy teams exist. It comes into the strategy of team building, especially in Global Championship. Those teams that run Satori tank will not be able to use that strategy. Well, Satori's a mage, Jiv, so that makes sense. Increasing a hero's stats and have them perform worse is dumb. They should have continued to work on the energy thing. Increasing a hero's stats and have them perform worse. What stats were increased? They're doing this brawl to not only get the data, but the feedback to avoid making a bad change. Exactly. Yes. Correct, Griff. Hero Wars is set up differently than any game I've played at this point. You have to actually pay attention in the game in order to not make any mistakes. I think Topaz, the changes that they're trying to institute or potentially going to institute is going to get away from that. You won't have to worry about making the incorrect choice leveling a hero. What's the use to play if you can't win against them? Zol, this is a psychology-based game in order to get money out of your pocket. There are way funner, way more engaging games than Hero Wars. Way more fun. Is it funner or more fun? I don't know why people play Hero Wars. I don't know why. What's the use to play? It's the idea that you can build a team, that you can collect items. You're collecting stuff, you're completing stuff, you get little dopamine rushes. By being smart, you can beat those players. Not easy in GC to beat 3 of those teams. Yeah, it's going to be, yeah. By being smart, you can beat those players. Not easy in GC to beat 3 of those teams. But still, if you build the heroes you need to counter correct, you still have good chances. And, you know, that's Zol. They had to build those heroes. If nobody's building heroes, if nobody is spending, then everybody's on the same level. But if everybody is spending, then everybody's on the same level. If some people are spending and some people are not spending, then those people that are spending or have played for years are going to be on that level. And the people that haven't spent and haven't played for a long time are not going to be on that level. Imagine if basketball or football changed rules. Well, those aren't for profit. So what happens if a guy spent enough money to max out one team and no one is able to beat that? A guy won't spend anymore? Well, ha 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 ha. That's why they release 4 heroes a year. That's why they release 15 skins a year, because things change. Zol, that's a very poor example because those teams get paid based on their tiers. It's the same argument in baseball. You know, beat the Astros, which are the world's champions. Beat the Cardinals, who are dumpster tier. They're both in the same league. If I couldn't beat those teams, I would have quit already. Yep. But what's to say the other people aren't quitting, that, you know, they're getting fed up because they're getting beat by weaker teams? Who would you rather keep if you were a business? The person that has spent a lot, has shown to be spending a lot, and will spend more? How many percentage players are whales and how many normal spenders? Which party spend the most? I don't know that for certain, Zol, but I believe that the people that buy Valkyrie's favor, the average player, I think they spend more than the whales do. Though we know that the average spend is above $100 per player, per spending player. The average spend per spending player is above $100. I don't know what a whale is. $1,000 a month, $500 a month. Since this is a resource management game, does the energy change negate the multiple years of resource management that older players have done? I don't know. It depends, I think, nobody on what energy rules are ultimately implemented. But I think it could be both. I could be yes, it could be no. If energy changes come as the web, scripts are not intended versus Osh. Not needed versus Osh. Aren't some of the new heroes released with the intention of countering other hero or making some? Exactly. So they need to keep both parties happy? Yes. But I think that they are sufficiently providing happiness to those average player party players, average players. But I don't have any information to, you know, for any of this. You know, this could be just a fun experiment that they may never change the energy. They may never change the energy rules. Just seems kind of circumspect. Seems kind of curious to me. Does the energy thing act the same? Topaz, as of right now, it's just part of a PvP hero versus hero event. So I guess the answer is no. No, it's just contained in that one event. This game is probability game. You can win 90% of the time and lose 1% of any time. Okay. I still argue with pay-to-win game is a real game. That is only an auction. Pay-to-win game. But this is a pay-to-win game. It's a dopamine vending machine disguised as a game. Mr. KTS. It's always been pay to win. There's always been the ability to spend money to gain additional resources or to speed up resource gain. And we get little hits of dopamine. We get little hits of happiness. You know, when we buy that skin, when we level up that skin, when we max out an event. It's a dopamine vending machine. That should be the name of my next YouTube channel. Many wills think that the power of money is the best strategy, and they get frustrated when they realize it's not. Gabriel, those are the whales I think that they are trying to protect. I think those are the whales they're trying to protect. Assume 10 players spend $500 a month. 80 players spend $100 in a month. I don't know the exact numbers, but I bet they want to keep some kind of balance in this. I don't know what they want, aside from more money. Nobody92 says pro sports players' contracts are pay to win, except for leagues with salary caps. Yes, they are. Baseball, Major League Baseball is a prime example of pay to win. Prime example. New changes discourage me from playing. I would have to rebuild my teams because they will become very weak. I think a lot of people will have to adjust. Yeah. Dungeon is always free to play. Cool. Dopamine vending machine. Did you hear that? The next stockholder. There's so much psychology behind getting you to spend that first dollar. That first dollar. If they can get you to spend that first dollar, then you are infinitely more likely to spend more. Infinitely more likely. It's some crazy term that psychology has, but you effectively believe yourself to be a spender. You are now okay with spending on video games. And it's even worse if you've spent on other video games. Like if you've bought a skin on Overwatch, which I bought a battle pass on Overwatch 2 yesterday. The next season of Overwatch 2 came out yesterday, I think it was. So I had to buy some coins or whatever so that I can unlock the season, right? Just like Heroes Way. After all the terrible changes they've done, not going to spend a single dime on Nexters again. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing is a lot of people will quit, right? A lot of people will quit, but I think that they think if this is a test, and this is kind of the last thing that we should probably, last little bit we should spend on this before we move on to something else. If this is some kind of data gathering test, and they know no matter what happens, people are going to quit. But if it makes the game's energy system not be broken, if they even perceive it to be broken, I suppose, or if it ends up being a better system, whether we all agree on it or some of us agree on it or only the whales agree on it, only the spinning players, then I think ultimately that's going to be a win for them because they have a better thing to build off of. They won't be worried about which heroes to give a health skin to, which heroes to give a health glyph to. They won't be worried about, I don't know, the bonus energy that dodge players get on Hero Wars Facebook and web, whether you agree with it being, it should be in there or not. I don't know. I don't know. I think that if they think that it's going to make a better game, then they're going to be okay with losing people, losing spinners at least.